Yes.
It's not. It's like advice.
Okay.
So I recently, I grew up at Cornerstone.
Okay.
Is a church, and I loved it. Like I always like counted down the days to like events like camp and stuff, and like I was like very excited to go. And then recently, without my parents even like talking to me about it, they just kind of like didn't say anything. And I woke up one Sunday and they were like, "Oh, we're going to Long Hollow,"
which is a different church.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So now I'm not allowed to like ever go back there. Apparently.
Okay.
For no reason, like they won't tell me anything, and I can't even like. It's like I lost a family.
Yeah. So you're not allowed to hang out with anybody from...
Well, I can. It's just I can't go back to that church.
Yeah.
And that church was like my family, and at Long Hollow, no one can do anything about it except for my parents, but they don't. It's like they don't even care enough to do something.
So, I would say, I haven't been in the exact same situation, but I know what it's like to transition churches, and it's really difficult. But as much as I say, even when I talk, like, what I've realized is so much of what the quality of your life is based on the story that you tell yourself. So, as much as I kind of feel like a broken record sometimes when I say that, but I would just go, like, I would really ask yourself, what story am I telling myself? Is it, I'll never be able to get what I had? Is it, this church was the best church and then no other church is going to, measure up? I know for me, that never happened in churches. It hadn't happened in relationships. I was in this relationship and now I have to go, I break up with this person and now I have to go to a different relationship and go meet somebody. I'm like, I spent all this time building up, emotional health with this person, or you could call it with church. Like, I've so much time building friendships and that kind of stuff. But again, the story that I told myself is I wouldn't find anyone else like this girl. And turns out when I started changing the story, I've met other people that I never would have thought I would have dated. But I'm like, oh my gosh, all I did was just change the story. And so maybe for you in this season, it's just changing your story and going, actually, if I have to go to Long Hollow or whatever, well, one, do you have to? We'll see. What are your options there? And then two, I trust that God can create whatever environment in whatever environment. So if you want to instead of going, man, I miss this church, which there's a place to grieve, but there's also a place to go, what's good about this? What's good about this? And so maybe that's a question you can ask yourself.
I've tried.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's hard.
But a part of it is you just change your story. So what's your change my story? That's the question. And it takes time to figure it out. I'm not saying it's easy. So, yes.
I just have something to go along with that. I went to the same church as her.
Yeah.
And I left like a year before her, and it was kind of all of a sudden too.
Before me.
Well,
You were in 5th grade.
2 years. Wait, 2
It
years
was
before.
like 3 years.
3 years. Okay, I left too, and I only had we didn't, we knew, I knew that we were gonna leave, but it was like a short period of time that I knew, and it was in that same year I left my school too.
Yeah.
So it just felt like.
Man, that's like the same thing.
It felt like I didn't know anybody because I went into homeschool, which means I don't know anybody. And so it was like. Really
You did have a
hard.
dog though, right? You have a dog?
No, my dog died actually.
Wow, that stinks.
That's a sucky year.
No, that was right after.
Do you have a dog now or no?
Now.
Okay.
So, but at that time, it was literally right after my dog died.
Okay.
It was a really horrible time for me, but so all that happened. But then what I got out of it is I got to go to church with my cousins, and I'm at this school now. So I think it was and I have a new dog. There
you go.
So I mean, it's like I got everything back, and I would say that I'm in a better state than I was then.
Exactly. And what do you think was the biggest difference from being in the other state? What do you think was the story that you told yourself to help be in this new one?
That there were people that are that were at that school and at that church that maybe they weren't the best for me. And
Okay.
so then when I came here, I had better influences and I had better friends.
Isn't that awesome? 'Cause- so I would say even it's crazy. We have a perfect example of somebody she's currently in that season that is really like hard. And she's now on this other side of the season that goes, the only difference between the two of you is the story that you guys have told yourselves. Because all we do is allow ourselves permission to feel certain ways. So like if you're in a relationship and say he doesn't text back, like, and you're like, you could make up a story and go, he doesn't like me. Something's wrong with me. Like, and all of a sudden you spent the last hour pondering over this one thing when all you had to do was change your story and go, you know what? I trust him. He's probably busy.
How do you know me?
So again, it's not like I've interacted with so many different people and so many friends of mine that are girls, and it's the same story. It's all comes down to that story that you tell yourself.
Yeah, I overthink a lot.
Me too.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one. When did you and your brother first get into music?
So that's a good question. 7 years ago, probably ish. Yeah, 7 years ago ish. We initially had a guy hear my brother and I speak at our church, and was like, "You guys can speak really well. I bet you guys could sing." And we were like, "No, we can't sing." And we tried it, and we made a song. And turns out when you have auto-tune, your voice doesn't sound too bad. And so we're like, maybe we could do this thing. Like maybe we could do music. We had a community of people from our church encourage us. Like we wrote our first song, and they wrote they loved it and they encouraged us. I mean, it was like we were 16, 17 writing a song, about a girl that we liked, but it was a community of people that encouraged us to go, I see something in you guys. That really was the starting point for our band. And then there's a guy named Alan Powell who's in a band called Anthem Lights that helped take us underneath their wing and teach us the YouTube thing. And so that's how we started.
I also have
Yeah.
what is this your job? Music? Is that kind of
Basically, I've functioned. There's three kind of things that I'm doing currently. Music is the dream, overall passion. I want that to be in my life, regardless of what happens. I also work in finance, and so I help people in the middle class get financially unstuck. And then I also, while that business is building, I drive Lyft. And so I've got to meet some really cool people and have really cool conversations.
So what's been the best part about getting into the music industry? What's
Best
your
part
favorite?
is you get to meet so many cool, incredible, creative people that you normally wouldn't meet. And it kind of songwriting in particular almost forces you to really dive deep into what you feel and your emotions and why you feel that way.
Oh, what got you into music?
What got me into music? Probably a variety of things, but I feel like maybe a better way to answer that question is what made me stay, because a lot of people get into music, but not a lot of people stay. And music has always been therapy for me. Music helps me change the stories that I speak over myself. And I think that's what music is.
And we got time for one final question. Maybe you got any advice or any parting things from
For
when
you
were
guys?
their age?
Yeah.
Kind of if you could give them one good piece of knowledge from your story to leave them with, what would it be?
I have one thing, because it's funny, most of your questions are all relationship based, right? I'd say for most of you, most of the questions I asked were all relationship based. So, this is what I would say in relationship. If there was one piece of advice that I would leave with you guys, it would be, you can only love someone as far as you've loved yourself.
Truth.
Because the problem is a lot of the questions that people are asking are, how can this person behave like I want them to behave? How can you get someone to believe X? How can I make someone else change? Versus, I'd say the most important thing in this season for you guys is going, what type of person do I have to be to attract the kind of person that I want? Because if someone's asking, how do I get in a relationship? There are relationships you don't want to get in. Mm-hmm. And the only way to not get in those relationships is by, one, understanding what kind of relationship you want. And if you want a healthy relationship, start to love yourself first. And that doesn't mean just like, I mean, it could mean like taking a spa day, getting a pedicure, or like having a gaming day, or whatever, your thing is that helps restore you.
Sleep.
Yes, could be if you have lack of sleep. But I would just say, as my last parting thing, you can only love yourself as far as you've loved other. You can only love yourself as or love. I'm just like blanking. You can only love yourself as far as you love others as far as you love yourself.
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow. And yeah, I mean that's been so true in my life. The quality of my relationships have increased based on the quality that I've loved myself.
I have one question, but I
Last
can wait
question.
until we're off cameras.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, wait. I have one that can stay on camera.
Okay.
What is like what do you go into in your head like before you write a song? Like what's your headspace before you
Now Gracie currently tours with her
Yeah,
family,
with
the
her
Bowling
family.
family.
She's
amazing.
and
famous.
A lot
Look
of
up the Bowling Sisters.
a lot of the
Look up the
weekends
Bowling
she's touring with her
Sisters.
family, so she's
So
kind of doing that.
so you're kind of trying to write songs right now?
Famous.
Yeah.
Oh, she's like
She
really
is.
famous.
She was
Yeah.
famous.
She has like
So-
2,000 followers.
Oh my god, no. Okay. Back to the question.
Yeah. So you're saying what headspace you get in before you write?
Yeah, like what's your motivation to write?
I mean,
Other
every
than like going through.
yeah, I mean like every write's different. So like, I don't have necessarily a thing that I focus on before I write. And writing with other people is different than writing by yourself. I've actually really found a lot of joy in writing with people I really care about. But I would say the biggest thing, especially if you're going to go into a co-write with somebody, is create a relationship first. It's so sometimes we'll talk for like 30 minutes or an hour before we even dive into the write. Because if you can get to know the person that you're writing with, you can create better art together. So if you're writing for yourself, I would just say, for me, I just get in the headspace of like, God, like, help me be honest with myself and not run from the tough questions.
Good advice. I would second all of that.
Yeah.
Experience. And we gotta finish. We started writing a song like 2 years
We
ago.
did.
We never finished.
Yeah. Lots of, I mean, and be patient. That's all.
In the place that I'm in, that I keep slipping through the sand, running towards the sunrise. You'll be there, fighting for love that never ever die. You'll be there, and you won't but you'll be there. I keep slipping through the sand, running towards the sunrise. You'll be there someday.